call from Credit Suisse, upgrading Textron to outperform, street high $72 price target. The analyst citing a more constructive outlook for the company's business jet segment, up more than 1.8% there. The third call from the team at Susquehanna, downgrading Qualcomm to neutral, 155 price target. The analyst expecting headwinds stemming from the stock's valuation and increasing competition from the likes of Apple. We're down there by about 1.5%. Up next on the programme, the Bitcoin frenzy returning following a weekend of surging volatility. That conversation up next with Bank of America's Jared Woodard and Barry Knapp of Ironside. Your opening bell is just around the corner this Monday morning. Good morning to you all. Beautiful one in New York. Equities down 10. We're down 0.2%. This is Bloomberg. Seconds away from the opening bell in New York City. Record high after record high over the last week or so. On the S&P 500, futures are down around about 10 points. On the S&P, we declined by 0.2%. On the Russell, we're off by 0.4%. On the Nasdaq, we're off by 0.5%. There's your opening bell. A bit of a fist pump. Over where's that? The NYSE. Seem excited, don't they? Switch on the board in the bond market. We look like this on a 10-year yield. Yields up 3 basis points, back through 160 on a 10-year to 160.64. In the FX market, positive 0.4% on the euro. Euro dollar 120.27, reclaiming a 120 handle going into the ECB decision this coming Thursday. Crude holding on to a 63 handle at $63 and around about 25 cents. That's the cross-asset story this Monday at the market desk with your movers. Here's Abby.
John, let's revisit why we are off those record highs, because we do have two very large growth momentum names down, one of them them being Tesla. Sadly, that Texas tragedy where 2 people were killed by a car where they believe that there was no driver. It's unclear whether it was autopilot, still under investigation, but investors not liking it. And NVIDIA is down 1.9% after a UK official is intervening in their $40 billion acquisition of ARM, citing national security concerns. As for some big movers, we have the shares of Harley-Davidson absolutely soaring. They put up a huge beat, profits of $1.68, 89% better than expected on sales of 1.42% or 1.42 billion, with 12.4% better than expected. It seems that folks really want to get back out on motorcycles. The outlook is very strong as well. Coca-Cola put up a strong quarter, saying that areas where the vaccine is out are really stronger for them. Knoll and Herman Miller, an acquisition happening there. Herman Miller buying Knoll, the office furniture and supply company, for $1.8 billion. And Knoll, you can see, is absolutely soaring here on that news. Herman Miller, not so much, as typically happens for the acquisition. And then finally, rounding it out with some of the Bitcoin and blockchain movers. Bitcoin, wow, what a wild move. And once again, down 9% earlier. It had been trying to fluctuate higher. Technically, Bitcoin looks set to keep going lower. And that appears right now, John, to be taking some of those Bitcoin movers down, including Coinbase, which, of course, had direct listing last week. Perhaps a sell the news moment.
Abigail, thank you. Let's build on this. A weekend of volatility for crypto and crypto assets. Bloomberg's Kelly Lyons has more. Hey, Kelly.
Hey, John, volatility in the crypto space. Literally, what else is new? This is a famously volatile asset, and once again, that has been on full display over the past several days. On Sunday, falling as much as 15% intraday on Bitcoin. It closed yesterday 7.5% lower, and we are recovering just a bit of that today, but just a bit. Right now, we're trading around $56,000. And the big question, John, is why? What was the driver of those dramatic moves? Is it regulatory fears with the Turkish central bank cracking down? Is it power outages in China that affected mining, or is it just a case of an asset that got really, really overheated? It is likely a combination of all of those factors. But at the end of the day, this move lower really has just been a blip in the grand scheme of things. Bitcoin is still up more than 700% over the last year, and even that rally is dwarfed by the rally in another cryptocurrency, Ethereum, which is up more like 1,300% in just the last 12 months. Ethereum now actually the second most valuable coin in terms of market cap, coming in at around $257 billion. But of course, Bitcoin still the dominant player in the game. Its market value topping $1 trillion. And John, I just have to note Dogecoin as well. It's a token that really started off as a joke originally, and yet a $50 billion market cap. Not bad for a joke coin, John.
Not bad at all. I came into work, first thing security said to me this morning, seriously, walked through security this morning, did you buy Dogecoin? And I asked the security guard what he was up, and he said he'd made $1,000. Now, you do that with what you want to do, but just walked through this morning and it came up and I was half asleep and I was surprised. So there we are. That's part of the conversation this morning for everybody, it seems. Joining me now is Bank of America's Jared Woodard and Barry Knapp of Insights Macroeconomics. Now, Barry, I know that you will be annoyed with me. I'm going to first come to you and ask you for your opinion on the European Super League Football League breakaway. So by all means, sir, you have the floor. Give me your take and then we can move on.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. I think it was inevitable that these big clubs were going to want to not spend their time playing little sides from Slovenia and all. So it was inevitable. But for me, the bigger question is, can you teach Tom the difference between Liverpool, Manchester, Newcastle, or the one that I always found incomprehensible on the pitch, the Scottish accent, because that's not English at all, but Northern nonetheless.
Barry, I'm going to stay out of trouble on all of those points, and the one thing I'm trying to teach Tom at the moment is the difference between Everton and Everton. One is a place no one knows, and the other is a football club. But Jared, I know you don't want to touch on this, so we won't. We'll go back to the crypto story. You can tell me to go away, and I'm looking for a narrative that does not exist, but SPACs suffering, cryptocurrency, crypto assets now over the last week suffering as well, retail volume, call options, all of that put together. Jared, what's going on here?
Yeah, John, hey, I don't want to talk about Dogecoin either, but, you know, I think the big story to tie it all together is that there's been a huge rise in these big market unknowns, is what we call them, whether it's retail frenzy or the SPAC frenzy or the crypto frenzy. People have got some money. They could put it to work in the real economy. They could buy things. Right now, they're buying financial things, unusual financial things. And I think this is coming, if not totally to a top, near to a top. I mean, you've seen the top in SPACs. You've seen at something like a 20 to 30% drawdown in one index of the largest SPACs. That's why we've been so cautious on it in the last few months. Is the equity issuance in some crypto-related companies going to be the top in the Bitcoin market? I'm not sure, but I think there's reasons to be cautious there too.